Imagine your dream home turning into a living hell where doors slam on their own, shadows creep, and something sinister wakes you every night at 3:15 a.m. This is the story of a family that walked into their dream and then ran out of a horrifying nightmare. It was the winter of 1975 when George and Kathy Lutz, along with Kathy's three children, decided to start a new chapter in their life. They moved into what they believed was their forever home, a home so beautiful and affordable they couldn't believe their luck. And it was a steal. It was purchased for just $80,000. The newlyweds, eager to begin their life together, saw it as a new beginning, a fresh start, or at least that's what they thought. Before moving in, George, a devout Christian, asked a priest to bless their new house. Father Ray, who arrived to perform the blessing, left in silence after hearing a disturbing voice during his prayers. A voice that said just one thing: get out. At first, the Lutz family didn't notice anything unusual. Sure, the doors would creak shut on their own, and then there were sudden cold spots that made their bones ache. But they chalked it up to the quirks of an old house. But soon, the small things became impossible to ignore. George began waking up every night at precisely 3:15 a.m. It wasn't just insomnia. It was as though something wanted him to wake up, something unseen watching from the shadows. He felt it lurking in the dark, breathing down his neck, always following him. One night, he heard the sounds of a marching band echoing from the living room. But when he rushed downstairs, the room was silent, empty. The music had vanished into thin air. Slowly, George's behavior changed. He became distant, cold, and obsessed. He spent hours staring into the fireplace, watching the flames dance, as if they were speaking to him. Then came the most terrifying moment. One night, George awoke again at 3:15 a.m., but this time he felt a compulsion to go down to the lake. As he passed by the mirror, he froze in horror. The face staring back wasn't his own. It was a gaunt, twisted, and animalistic face, and his eyes, they weren't even human. Whatever had taken hold of George wasn't done with him. He felt like something was taking over, controlling every move, driving him into madness. Even Kathy noticed the change. One night, she witnessed George levitating above their bed, his body stiff and unresponsive. When he came to his senses, he had no memory of what had happened. But Kathy knew they weren't alone. The children too began to feel the house's sinister grip. Kathy's youngest daughter, Missy, made a new friend, a friend no one else could see. Her name was Jody. Jody's bright red eyes would stare back at the family from the windows at night. Then things became worse. The furniture started moving on its own. The family dog Harry refused to go near the basement, growling at something invisible. After that came thousands of flies, covering every nook of the house, as if death itself had come knocking. The Lutz family couldn't bear it anymore. After just 28 days, they fled in the dead of night, leaving behind everything: clothes, furniture, and horrifying memories. And the address of the house that the Lutz had moved into and then ran away from was 112 Ocean Avenue, Amityville. This was the Amityville house where evil seemed to linger. The house had seen horrors even before the Lutz family ever arrived. In fact, it had been the witness of an unimaginable tragedy. 1 year prior to when the Lutz family had moved in, the house was residence to the DeFeo family. They were a family like any other, going about their daily routines. But on November 13th, 1974, Ronald DeFeo Jr., the eldest son, shot and killed his entire family as they slept. 6 people, gone in one single night. When the police asked why he killed his entire family, Ronald DeFeo's answer was chilling. He said, "The voices made me do it." Coincidentally, the time of the murders was 3:15 a.m., the exact same time George Lutz woke up every night while living in the house, feeling a dark presence pulling him from his bed. After the Lutz family's departure, the story made headlines. Paranormal investigators swarmed the house, trying to uncover the truth. Among them were Ed and Lorraine Warren, famous for their work with the supernatural entities. Lorraine claimed that she felt an evil force the moment she stepped inside. She described the sensation of being suffocated, as though something was pressing down on her chest, trying to crush her. Ed was thrown to the ground by an unseen force, knocked flat by whatever haunted the house. As for the Lutz family, well, they never returned back to that place. Before moving in, the couple was already embroiled in legal and financial troubles, leading many to believe that they had a motive to concoct a fantastical story for fame and for money. To prove their innocence, they even took a lie detector test, and surprisingly, they passed. Ronald DeFeo Jr., who was sentenced for life for the massacre of his family, had also changed his story about hearing voices multiple times. 4 years after the incident, in 1979, William Weber, their former lawyer, who had fallen out with them over financial disputes, claimed the Amityville Horror story was created over many bottles of wine, which the Lutz family clearly denied. All of these claims have led to confusion for the public regarding who and what to believe when it comes to the horror house. However, the Lutz children were forever scarred by their time in that house. Kathy's son, Daniel, who now lives a quiet life as a stonemason in Queens, New York, said he still continues to suffer from terrifying nightmares and claims that the house ruined his life. As for the infamous house itself, it still stands, captivating the minds of the general public through multiple movies and conspiracy theories. We don't know if the events that transpired were real or imagined, but the Amityville house remains one of the most notoriously haunted locations in the world. Whether haunted by demons or just haunted by tragedy, the mystery of the house remains unsolved.